Hey guys, welcome to Sex Mentality on the Lifestyle Network. I'm super excited on today because what people don't know, if you know me and you know my sister, this is a ladies lounge reunion. So it's the first time me and my sister been back at the table. So we excited to bring back to y'all. And today we are talking about women's mental health. And so I want to ask Sean, when you hear women's mental health, what comes to your mind?
I think a lot of the struggles that women go through daily, some of them have to be single parents, so they have to take on both roles.
Mhm.
So
I also think about the stigma when it comes to mental health. Like when it comes to mental health, a lot of times people don't like to say that I have a problem. They don't like to seek help because there's nothing wrong with seeking help. I had no problem, full transparency. I see a therapist. And for a minute there, I wouldn't see a therapist because even though I work in the mental health field, I just kept saying, oh, well, how would I need to go see a therapist if I'm the one who help other people? But sometimes the weight of everything, of all the titles that we have, cause our mental health to just be shattered. So that's why today, and I think it's more important with women because as women, we hold a lot of titles. We're moms, some of us are daddies, and some of y'all gonna shoot back at me that moms can't be daddies, but okay. And some of us are aunties, business owners, apostles, church ministers, all kind of titles that we hold. And sometimes the strong, people think that we're strong, but it's okay to admit that we're not strong. So today we're going to talk about that a little bit. So when we think about depression and anxiety, what do that look like in Black women?
sometimes you just don't know. I mean, you go daily life on work, school, dealing with your children, and you just don't know. People be thinking, oh, there's nothing wrong with her. But deep inside, you're suffering.
Yeah, and I think when COVID came, we had to wear those masks. It was easier to hide. It was easier to mask our pain and mask things that we're going through because we was behind that mask per se. But now to me, what it looks like, it could be somebody in a manic stage. If you know a person that's not really hyperactive, they don't shop all the time. It could be somebody that talk a lot, but now they're quiet. Or it could be somebody who that smiles and joyful all the time, but now they're sad and they don't want to talk about it. So I think with women, it comes to a lot. I think about that commercial. You ever seen the commercial about the depression medicine and the lady holds up the mask like this?
That's how people see her.
And that's how people see her. Because in the mask have a smile and that's how she see people. But behind the mask, she's like suffering. And I think because we as women have this persona that we have to be strong Black women, that sometimes it's okay to not be strong. It's okay to feel as if you're not strong. Because I have days where I don't feel like that I don't feel like getting out of my bed, but I know my priorities, being a mom, working, but we have those days as women. And we got to be able to speak about those days and be able to voice those days. But who do we go to? If we're the ones that if we're the ones that consider to be the strong ones, who do the strong ones go to?
Right.
It's important when we talk about mental health within Black women that we discuss some of the symptoms that they may experience, such as fatigue, difficulty concentrating, body pain. I suffer from fibromyalgia, but when I am stressed out, it causes my flare-ups to come more frequently. We also know as Black women or um, women in general attempt suicide more than men, whereas men, they will go through suicide. Women may attempt it more. It also causes women to eat more. You might overeat, gain weight. You might lose weight because you're not eating due to depression. I know, Sean, would you like to share maybe a little bit of your testimony?
Well, in 2020, we lost our mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I fell deep into depression. I started to get all sorts of body aches. I had to go to a chiropractor because my neck was bothering me. It was stiff. It was hurting. I had a lot of pain. I had a lot of migraines, and I couldn't understand where all this was coming from. I suddenly developed things within my body as well, and I went to the doctor, and she assured me that I need to see a therapist. And when I saw a therapist, I realized that it was in my mind, my grief. My grief had took over. It was making me depressed. It was starting to affect my body.
And so, like, for me, same with my sister, I went through a little bit of depression, being able to difficulty handling grief. So, like I told you, I suffer from fibromyalgia, but one of the things about fibromyalgia that anything can trigger my pain flare ups, and one of the things that was triggering it was me being depressed. And so I was constantly in body pain. I was constantly in a sad mode. The best way I describe it is that my mind was just going like 100 miles a minute. Like would have thought, if you see me, you thought I was functioning because I knew how to fake the funk. I knew how to pretend. I knew how to go to work. I knew how to smile in front of people. I knew how to make sure my job duties were done. But inside, like I was grieving. I was sad. I didn't want to deal with nobody. And that's the biggest thing with women. We know how to mask those things. And I masked it very well until I was called out on it. To be honest, transparent moment, my apostle called me out on it out of nowhere because I thought I was doing an amazing job by, closing it up, not dealing with it. And she called me out on it and looked me in my face and said, "You are depressed. You are depressed." And I kept saying, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to work. I'm going to school. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm running my business. This is what I'm supposed to do." But inside, I was dying. And she was able to like recognize that. And that's when I immediately got into therapy. So my question is, are Black women open to therapy?
I know I wasn't at first. People kept on telling me I need to go. And I was like, no, because I work with clients that have mental illness all day.
Right.
I talk with them all day. I tell them coping skills to use.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to now rely on somebody else to talk to, that was kind of hard. To open up, to be honest, to be open, that was kind of hard for me. So
I think it's also hard is that I'm like you, I work in the field. I think I've been in the field for about 20 plus years. How long you been in?
20 years.
About 20 plus years. And our roles is that we assist people. We're both getting our masters in clinical mental health counseling. My brother's also in the field. And so that's what we do. We assist others. We take care of others. We do that counseling role to others. So to sit on the opposite side of the table, and now I have to open up and tell somebody else my problems or what I'm going through. That was hard.
I know it was hard for me.
That was really, really hard because I'm supposed to be the strong one? Because as women, we think we're the strong ones. So how could I break down? How can I have a moment where I can't function? That's not reality. But in reality, it is. And it's okay.
It's okay.
And it's okay. It's okay to get therapy. I wasn't where I had to be on medication, but there are people that has to be on medicine. That's okay too.
And I was resistant to that. My doctor, my therapist, everybody thought that I need to be on medicine. I refused to be on medicine because I'm like, no, I don't need the medicine. I'm fine. But as time went on, I used coping skills as the same thing I told clients I was starting to use, and I worked my way through it.
Mm-hmm. And it's okay to say I need help. I need help. It's hard. I can definitely say I live about 2 hours away from my siblings. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times it gets hard living out here by myself. And a lot of times I do be wanting to call them and be like, in the beginning, I'll be like, I need help. I'm more open with it now. I think both of them can say that I will call or text when I say I need help. But sometimes women, we have to understand that it's okay to drop that guard. It's okay to say, can I have my time to heal? Because some of us is harboring feelings from the past. Mm-hmm. Things that we went through from the past relationships, broken relationships, family issues, any kind of issues that some of us have maybe been sexually molested or different kind of issues that we thought we was over it, but it transformed this way in our adult lives. And it's okay to get help. When we think about medication, I think medication is also a stigma.
It is definitely a stigma with that.
Because I think when people say medication, they think, oh, now I'm on medication, now I'm quote unquote crazy. No. There's some people, I always tell people, there are some people that can handle depression, anxiety, panic attacks. They can handle it without medication. But there's some people that need a little help. And it's okay if they need a little help. Medication was developed to help us. Mm-hmm. So even when you think about physical ailments, if your head was hurting, would you not take Tylenol Motrin? If your back was hurting, would you not take a muscle relaxer or pain medicine?
I'm ready to take it.
Ready to take it. I know I'll be ready to take my medicine. So why not take medicine that will help the most important organ in your body, which is your brain? Because a lot of that is a chemical imbalance, and medication can help with that, and it's okay. Now, do you have to go around and say, "Hey, I'm on medication"? Absolutely not. Nobody will ever know. It's nobody's business but your own. But you can develop what I call a safe space. And a safe space is people that you can trust, people that you love, that you can be able to call when you having those bad days, when you feeling like you don't want to take your medication or you're questioning why. That's that space that we have it. When we think about mental health and relationships, what can your partner do to help you heal?
I have a very supportive partner. He checks on me daily. He always asks me, am I okay? He always seems to know just by my voice that what's wrong, what's going on, what done happened. He always know immediately when I talk to him. So having that very supportive partner is very important to me.
And I think when you think about a life partner, whether it's your husband or your significant other, somebody that you dating and that you feel open to express your stuff to, it gotta be somebody who can be able to understand that today's just not a good day. And you may not feel like talking. And they may know your favorite chocolate or your favorite dinner or your favorite flower. And they will know, like if they truly, truly is in tune with you, then they will know how to help you heal. And sometimes that healing process come with talking.
Definitely.
Come with talking it out and not letting it sit, because when it sits and festers, it becomes an infection. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. When it sits and festers, it becomes an infection. And we all know when an infection gets bad, it's either operation or death is gonna happen. So why not take care of yourself mentally so that infection do not develop? So I know we talked about how a partner can help you positively, but there are situations when you're not with the right person and they can make it even worse. I can, like I said, I'm always going to be transparent on this platform. I've been in relationships where the person made my depression and anxiety worse. They wasn't supportive. They made me feel as if I was crazy or as if I was the problem. They turned that into back on me as if I was the problem. And so because I wasn't at that time a person who expressed this, I would just let that sit and let that fester and thought I was moving on, but I really wasn't, which caused a problem as far as the moving on process in the relationship. So in that, there are times when I remember being talked down to, or not even, and it could be talked down to, and maybe people talk down. Have you ever been talking down to a person and then you don't really know that you're being talked down? Like, it be like a few minutes or like an hour, a year later, you be like,
wait a minute.
Did he just call me out? Did he just call me crazy? Like, because that person knows how to use their words to manipulate you. And so sometimes it takes a while for you to be like, wait a minute, did he just go off on me? And I was like smiling about it. So I've been in situations, but have you been in like situations like that, Sean?
Yeah, to be honest, ladies, we all been with the man that laid it down and we like, oh no, I can't leave him.
Right.
So yeah, it took me a while because he laid it down. But guess what? I didn't need him. He was no good. He was making me mentally unstable. I was very dependent on him. Felt like I couldn't live without him at one time. So he was definitely not for my mental health.
Right. And when you're going through it, sometimes you don't recognize it. Like, it took me to come out of a relationship for me to be like, oh yeah, that was emotional abuse. Oh yeah, he was more of a hindrance than some person that's supposed to help me elevate. So sometimes at that moment, it do get worse and we can't recognize it because we're in it. Yeah. We're in it at that moment. And we're so used to, like I said, living your life and doing this routine and doing these traditional things that we do on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes it's hard to even recognize. Another thing when we think about relationships and mental health, we gotta be able to recognize the different symptoms and signs within our partners. Because if I'm not suffering, but my partner is suffering, I need to be able to do my research. I need to be able to understand the symptoms, but also my partner got to be able to be open enough to tell me, like, hey, I suffer from depression, or hey, I suffer from anxiety, or hey, I suffer from bipolar, or schizophrenia. Because a lot of times these things you may not even know a person is suffering from it until they have the symptoms start showing, or until they having a bad day, or they don't take their medication. So once your partner opens up and explain this to you, do your research. Understand the triggers that may cause that person to act out or feel some type of way. Understand what helps them get through, what soothes them, what coping skills they have. Understand what the actual diagnosis is, because there's a lot of research out there. Yeah. I know for us, the DSM-5 now, TR, I think it's TR now, the DSM-TR, that's like the Bible when you deal with mental health. Like, that is what we have to go by. So I'm not saying that you got to be a counselor. I'm not saying go out to Amazon and buy the DSM-5 TR. I'm not saying any of that, but I am saying learn your partner, learn the diagnosis, learn the symptoms.
Something's wrong.
Learn when something is wrong. If you know your partner is, when they come in, they're like, hey, babe, how you doing? And then one day they just come in and just walk right past you, recognize the symptoms, be able to help them, be able to soothe them, and also be able to encourage them to get help. But when we think about Black women and mental health, or women in general, women in general and mental health, self-care is important.
Definitely.
Self-care is important. I'm not gonna lie, it took me to be in my 40s. I look good. 43 out. It took me to be in my 40s to understand the importance of self-care. It really did. Because it's not that I didn't know what it is, I didn't deem it important. So I would have my moments that I would break down or I'll be overly tired, because anybody who follows me on my social media or any platform that I have, everybody know that I have a special needs child. So that gets to be sometimes overwhelming. And so I didn't know what it was to take time out for myself. And it could be something simple. Go get my nails done, go get a pedicure. Sometimes I don't do that because what? I am the sole provider in my household. So a lot of my money goes into making sure I maintain my household, but it's still important.
Or you might feel guilty.
Or I feel guilty because I'm taking money out of something that should go somewhere else. So it gotta be important. Me and my sister, traditionally every year we take a sister trip. Every year. We do one time a year. We started off at the beach, but we big ball now. We gonna cruises. We done elevated to cruise. I don't know where we going next year. But we do a sister trip every year, and that helps us with no kids. We're able to relax. We're kind of able to digress. When did you realize like self-care was important?
I realized that a long time ago, like you, in my 40s, when I started, late 30s, early 40s, when I started wearing more dresses and acting more femininely and got my nails and my hair done. But, then a lot of times, like you said, I felt guilty about it. I was a single mom raising two girls. I'm taking this from them. That's what I thought. I'm taking this from their house, instead of worrying about, okay, mommy needs her time alone. She needs to get herself together. I felt guilty about it because I felt like my children were first, like I should always put them first. But then I learned, okay, what about mommy needs her time too, So that's when I started getting my hair done and my nails done.
There's so many different aspects when we think about self care. Shanti, you kind of tell us about, but first of all, let's just say my sister looked amazing. Her weight loss journey has been amazing. So, can we talk about that?
Well, it was not intentionally to begin. I started losing weight. I went to my doctor. She was so very proud of me. She was like, "What are you doing to lose weight?" And I was like, "Well, you don't really want to know what I'm doing to lose weight." And she was like, "What is it? What is it?" And I was like, "I'm only eating one meal a day." She was like, "Oh, no, you can't do that." And she was like, "Well, you're doing so good. How about I put you on something?" And I said, "Yeah, shut up." Oh, Ozempic. So she put me on Ozempic, and I started losing weight. I lost 40 pounds, y'all. Yes, my husband don't like it, but because he like big girls, you know. But it's okay because I'm still big and beautiful. I'm just a little
Curvy. I
bit
call it Team Curvy.
curvy, a little bit tighter, and a little bit smoother. You know, still beautiful. But yeah, so it's been awakening. You know, I feel like I got a little bit more energy now. You know, I try to watch what I eat. I try not to. Every now and then, you know, the cravings for ice cream still come. You know, and I messed up and ate some ice cream last night. But I try to drink plenty of water. Try to take care of myself a little bit better. Try not to, you know, eat a lot of the junk foods and stuff. I try to take a little better care of myself. But you know, it's a journey. It's tough, y'all. It's very tough. So,
and weight loss, like it can also be a self care. It could be, whereas in your mind, you want to get healthy, and being healthy mentally is being healthy physically. So it could be sometimes people coping skills is walking. And you never know, that walking starts turning into longer walks, and you start noticing that the weight is coming off and that you feel better. So like self help can also be a journey. For myself, ministry has helped me really. Also, on my side of self care, I will just say my spiritual life has been helpful. Being a part of a ministry has been helpful. Praying, I'm not going to say that I am an expert in it. I'm not going to say that I am perfect. I'm not going to say that I don't have my bad days where sometimes I still question. But I will say that I know my beliefs, and I'm going to talk about my beliefs. My love for God has helped me through many, 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 many situations. Wherever belief or whatever religion or whatever spiritual aspect that your journey that you go on, sometimes that's part of self care as well. Being able to, I know if whenever I needed to talk, I've done this before, knock on my apostle's door or call her and say, "Hey, can I have a meeting?" She's always been there. My sister's there, my brother's there, my therapist there, even my kids are there, because sometimes as moms, sometimes it's okay for our kids to be there for us, even though we don't want to, because quote unquote, we are the mom, we are the parent. But I can definitely say my spiritual life has helped me through, especially the grieving part, losing my mom or feeling down. It does. The praying and asking God for help, asking God to be there beside me, asking God to never leave me. For myself, that is my spiritual journey. For yourself and your spiritual journey, whatever that may look like, that can be your self-care. Self-care comes in all aspects of that. Self-care could be if you're in a chaotic world and you just need quiet time. Mm-hmm. Going to find a quiet space, reading your favorite book, binge watching your favorite show.
tattoos.
Tattoos. Sometimes it's piercing. My daughter has told me many, many times that piercings help her, but she don't need no more piercings. But I'm just saying, whatever that self-care, as long as it don't become toxic, then whatever that self-care looks like for you, do not have a problem with indulging in that self-care. Do we have a social media question? Cool. So guys, every episode that we have, we can't end it without having a social media question. So if you have a question for us, please go and like and follow on all our social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, as well as Lifestyle Network channel on YouTube. So today's social media question is: how as a woman do we balance relationship, kids, working, and be able to balance that in a positive way?
Girl, that's pretty tough. I mean, hard. It's hard, but you know what? I believe in you. I believe in you. If nobody else does, I know you can do it because I've done it. You've done it. I mean, it takes a lot, but with spirituality, as far as God, believing in God, believing in yourself, you can do it.
Right. I don't know. It's this gospel song that comes to my mind. My favorite thing I love to say, because I always hear it, as I minister to you, I minister to myself. So what I'm going to say to you, this for the person who gave us this amazing social media question, is that sometimes it's going to be hard. And the question is, we can have our moments. My apostle tells us this all the time. We can have our moments, but don't stay there. So there are going to be days that's going to be hard. I speak for myself. I want to cry. I work 2 jobs actually. We own this wonderful studio, as well as I go to school. I have a special needs child, 19-year-old twins. One is in college, and I'm a grandma. So yeah, it gets hard sometimes. But I never had the moment. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have a bad day. How do you balance it all? One day at a time.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about if you didn't do it yesterday. Worry about what you're doing today. And when you do that, and with your safe space, you can make it through. All right. So our second social media question is, So our second social media question is, what advice do we have for women who choosing toxic relationship over their mental health?
Well, first of all, you got to take care of yourself, because you're not going to be good to anybody else if you don't take care of yourself. Your mental health is more important. If you break up with a guy, he's just going to go on and meet somebody else, and you're still going to be dealing with that problem, correct?
Right. My advice to you would be to recognize your self-worth. Know who you are as the queen that you was designed to be. No relationship, whether it's personal, family, just the word toxic, nothing toxic can go good in your life. Nothing toxic can go good for your mental. So I would say once you start recognizing, and the fact that you're able to ask us this question, you're telling us that you are starting to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship. Recognize it and start making your plans to be able to, maybe moving on may not be the key. Maybe y'all sitting down getting help. Maybe explaining to him or her, whoever your significant other is, hey, I don't feel like this relationship is healthy. Are you willing to help us? And if they're not willing to help you guys, then now it's time for you to make the steps to move on. Because at the end of the day, your health, your physical health, your mental health is way more important. I don't know if you have kids, but your kids would rather you be here than rather them saying in remembrance of. So take care of yourself mentally and physically, and nothing toxic works in your life. Thank you guys for joining us on Sex Mentality on the Lifestyle Network. Sean, thank you so much for joining this table. So excited to share this platform with you today. Every Friday, a new episode will be dropping on the Lifestyle Network on YouTube. So please, please, please share it, like it, subscribe it, even leave comments on it. Guys, thank you for all the supporters who have went and watched our very first episode, which is now on the network. So go and like and subscribe and follow that. You can also follow us on all social media platforms on Mental Wealth Lifestyle. So please, also, my sister, you can follow her at, what's your Facebook?
LaShawn Thompson.
LaShawn Thompson. And you also know me. You can follow me at Aisha on Facebook, Diva Styles and Sweets on Facebook, Diva Styles on Instagram, and Diva Styles on TikTok. Follow us. You never know where we're going to go. I'm amazing, excited. So yeah, see you guys. Bye-bye.